Mystical Chernobyl. Secrets hidden in the exclusion zone. Good day, dear viewers. Today, Grandfather has prepared for you an extremely fascinating and chillingly true story. Ukraine is a land of legends, mysteries, and stories stretching back centuries. From the Carpathian Mountains to the vast eastern steppes, this land has seen beauty, tragedy, heroes, and disasters. Few places hold as much haunting energy as Chernobyl. Here lies a city frozen in time, Pripyat, abandoned, silent, yet strangely alive. Nature has reclaimed what humans built, and shadows remember the lives that once walked these streets. Tonight, we will walk together through empty schools, forgotten apartments, rusted Ferris wheels, and forests that refuse to die. Imagine standing at the edge of the exclusion zone, wind brushing your face, distant sounds of birds and unseen creatures echoing through the silence. Even before you enter, you feel the weight of history pressing against your soul. The tragedy here was not sudden, it was the culmination of human ambition, error, and forces beyond comprehension. And yet, Chernobyl is more than a story of disaster, it is a living, breathing ghost, waiting for those brave enough to listen. Chapter 1, Pripyat, the Silent City. Pripyat was built to be a model city, full of hope and energy. Streets once alive with children's laughter, families preparing for the future, schools echoing with voices, and theaters filled with performances, now lie in ruins. Walking through the streets today, apartment blocks rise like frozen monuments, windows staring blankly into emptiness. Trees break through walls, vines choke staircases, and wild animals wander freely where humans once lived. Before the disaster, the city was vibrant. Children wore crisp uniforms to school, neighbors greeted each other warmly, and families celebrated birthdays, festivals, and holidays together. Local markets smelled of fresh bread, flowers, and the chatter of shoppers. Parks were alive with children playing, lovers strolling, and elderly people resting on benches. All of this vanished in an instant. The amusement park, with its iconic Ferris wheel, stands frozen in time. Rusted swings sway in the wind, as if pushed by invisible hands. The bumper cars are covered in dust, yet they seem ready to move at any moment. Faded banners hang from poles, their colors dulled by decades of exposure, telling stories of festivals that never came. Inside apartments, remnants of daily life remain. A child's backpack, abandoned shoes, old newspapers scattered across floors, a lone doll with one eye missing, every object whispers a story of interrupted lives. The air feels heavy, carrying echoes of the past. Visitors often report feeling watched. Shadows seem to move just beyond vision, vanishing when approached. School number 3 offers a chilling glimpse of life frozen. Hallways stretch endlessly, walls peeling, chalkboards covered with forgotten lessons. Desks remain arranged as if awaiting students who never returned. In the gymnasium, a deflated basketball rests near the hoop, and lockers stand open, revealing scattered books and papers. Even supermarkets tell a story. Shelves covered in dust, cans untouched, fruits and vegetables rotting over decades, a frozen snapshot of normal life abruptly halted. Nearby, a cafe shows faded menus, spilled coffee, and chairs left overturned. Every corridor, room, and window is a memory captured in stillness. Hospitals, too, tell tales. Rusting beds, abandoned wheelchairs, medical charts scattered across floors, the scent of antiseptic now mingled with dust. Patients' personal belongings, a scarf, a shoe, a photo, linger like ghosts. Theaters remain haunting. Costumes hang from hooks, scripts lie scattered, and dusty seats still retain impressions of those who once sat there. Visitors report lights flickering, shadows dancing across walls, and faint applause echoing in empty halls. Some photographers have documented impossible events, writing appearing on chalkboards, lights suddenly turning on and off, and shadows darting across rooms. Stalkers, those who explore illegally, share stories of sudden cold, a feeling of presence, or whispering voices. Chapter 2: Shadows and Whispers. Pripyat is said to awaken at night. Children's laughter echoes where no children exist. Doors slam in empty corridors. Footsteps echo endlessly. One photographer captured a shadow at a shattered window. When he returned, the building was completely empty. Another stalker reported seeing a silhouette on a rooftop, vanishing instantly. Radios sometimes hiss static resembling whispered voices, and cameras fail mysteriously. A man recounted, "I saw a child standing in the street. She vanished the moment I blinked. I ran, but the silence followed me." Another, "Doors opened and closed by themselves. I could feel a presence behind me for hours. The city itself was alive and observing." Shadows are said to be echoes of the people who lived here. Others insist the city remembers the tragedy and refuses to let it go. Apartments whisper faint conversations, laughter, or crying. Hallways feel colder than outside air, and the energy is a mixture of grief, anger, and sadness. Theaters, gyms, and offices offer countless stories. Faint clapping, whispers, and the shuffle of footsteps are reported. Some visitors have even described seeing partial figures in windows, watching silently, disappearing as approached. One photographer documented a chilling experience. While exploring an empty apartment, faint writing appeared on a chalkboard, a message in an unknown language, vanishing moments later. Stalkers report fleeting children running along corridors that vanish, shadowy adults lingering in doorways, and sudden drops in temperature. Each story adds to Pripyat's growing legend, a city that refuses to sleep. Chapter 3: Reactor Number 4. At the heart of the zone lies Reactor Number 4, where everything changed. Now encased in the new safe confinement, it is silent, yet not absent. Visitors report waves of dread. Cameras malfunction. Batteries die. Flashes of light sometimes appear inside the sarcophagus, as if something still burns. Workers tell of nightmares, alarms ringing, fire spreading, faceless figures appearing. Some claim that standing too close, you feel a presence behind you, a weight pressing on shoulders, whispering fragments of memories from that night in 1986. The forest surrounding the reactor, the Red Forest, is equally haunting. Trees once green turned crimson after radiation. Now strange phenomena occur, glowing orbs flit between branches, and some insects glow unnaturally, as if the forest itself is alive. Visitors describe hearing machinery hum in silence, sudden chills, and distorted air around them. Even seasoned scientists are unsettled. Chapter 4: The Red Forest and Abandoned Villages. Beyond Pripyat lies the Red Forest. It is said to be cursed. Glowing orbs, lights moving between trees, and mysterious sounds occur with no visible source. Animals behave strangely. Wolves, boars, and birds traverse abandoned streets and forests freely. Abandoned villages tell stories through decaying structures. Wooden houses collapse under decades of neglect. Churches stand with broken icons. Roads lead nowhere. The land itself seems unwilling to forget its residents. Stalkers recount seeing figures in windows, distant silhouettes disappearing when approached. The wind carries whispers, as though past lives speak. Old cemeteries remain, gravestones worn yet somehow alive. The zone holds countless secrets. Every building, tree, and path carries a memory of joy, sorrow, and sudden absence. Eyewitness Story 1: The Vanishing Child. A stalker recounts visiting an abandoned school late at night. While exploring a classroom, he saw a little girl standing near the window, holding a worn-out doll. Her clothes were torn, and her hair was messy, yet she seemed calm. He called out to her, but she didn't respond. As he took a cautious step forward, the temperature dropped suddenly. The girl turned toward him, but her face was pale, almost translucent. In the next second, she vanished entirely, leaving behind only a faint echo of giggling. Eyewitness Story 2: The Silent Theater. Another visitor entered a theater in Pripyat. As he walked through the dusty aisles, the sound of soft applause filled the air. He stopped, puzzled, as no one was there. Suddenly, the stage lights flickered on, illuminating a scene from a past performance. Shadows of actors appeared on stage, moving as if rehearsing a play frozen in time. When he blinked, the entire scene vanished, leaving only the empty stage and his racing heartbeat. Eyewitness Story 3: The Haunted Apartment. A photographer spent a night in an apartment block. As he entered one room, he noticed objects slowly shifting. A chair moved a few inches, a book fell to the floor, and a wardrobe door creaked open. He saw faint silhouettes moving across the room, but when he turned on his flashlight, the room appeared empty. The whispering voices grew louder, forming words he could not understand. The next morning, he found a child's drawing on the floor that he hadn't seen the night before. Eyewitness Story 4: The Red Forest Lights. In the Red Forest, a group of explorers witnessed glowing orbs hovering between the trees. The lights danced, sometimes approaching, sometimes retreating. One explorer reported feeling a hand brush past his shoulder, yet no one was there. Shadows seemed to stretch unnaturally, and the forest was alive with unidentifiable whispers. Even after leaving the zone, the explorers said they could feel the presence of the forest following them. Eyewitness Story 5: The Ghostly Worker. Near reactor number 4, a security guard recounted seeing a man in old Soviet worker clothing walking along the perimeter. He tried to approach, but the figure vanished into thin air. Cameras on the facility did not record him. Colleagues dismissed it as a hallucination, yet the guard insisted he saw the figure clearly, calm, deliberate, and eerily familiar, as if the reactor itself had conjured a memory from the past. Eyewitness Story 6: The Whistling Corridor. In a long, empty corridor of an abandoned hospital, an explorer heard a low, melodic whistle. At first, he thought it was the wind. But the sound seemed to follow him, echoing from room to room, growing louder as he walked. Peeking into rooms, he saw shadows moving just at the edge of his vision. Doors opened and closed on their own. By the time he reached the end of the corridor, the whistle stopped abruptly, leaving only oppressive silence. Eyewitness Story 7: The Disappearing Car. A group of photographers noticed an old car parked in a street of Pripyat. They took photos, but when they returned the next day, the car had vanished without a trace. No tracks, no signs of movement, as if it had been a ghost vehicle, existing only for a fleeting moment. Some believe that vehicles and objects trapped in the zone sometimes appear for a brief time, replaying moments from before the disaster. Chapter 5: Reflection and Mystery. Chernobyl is more than abandoned buildings and radioactive soil. It is a living memory, a nexus of history, legend, grief, and mystery. Shadows of Pripyat speak to us if we dare to listen. Are these ghosts real? Or are they lingering echoes of trauma etched into the land? Perhaps both. Visitors, scientists, and stalkers report shadows, whispers, and visions beyond explanation. Nature itself is altered. Plants grow in unusual patterns. Animals behave strangely. Silence feels heavy. Every corner, wall, and vehicle tells a story if one dares to listen. Chernobyl is where history, mystery, and the supernatural intertwine. It reminds us of human ambition, error, and the fragile line between life and death. Thank you for watching, dear viewers. Subscribe to Ancient Grandfather, more thrilling and mysterious stories await.